Hey everyone, how's it going? Saul here, and welcome back to another build progress update sort of video. This time we've got Bladefall, Blade Blast, Poison Assassin. It's a pretty standard build and one I considered starting the league with, which, after playing it, I definitely regret not starting the league with it. It's pretty great, I have to say. I did level with like leveling gear and a tabula and everything, but I think even without that, it would have been, like, comparatively the best damage I've had while leveling, probably ever. It was just that good. In the background here, I've got some inscribed ultimatums going. I don't have any straight up mapping footage, but this is both a showcase of how it does in ultimatums and how the like general flow of mapping goes. You tend to move, blade fall, and then immediately blade blast. And if you're in a tricky situation, you can not blade blast immediately, but take another step or two and then blade blast. But typically, as usual with these types of builds, you want to use blade blast as soon as the blade fall starts coming down to activate as many blade blasts as possible. So yeah, the damage was great. The first time I died was level like 80-ish, somewhere in the 80s. Didn't have much of a problem up until that point. Can't really say I've had much of a problem now. There was a middle period. Also, that inscribed ultimatum dropped a pretty ridiculous wand with pretty high fizz rolls and a tyrannical roll, which is crazy. So yeah, I can craft that up to like 350 PDPS, so I might end up doing something with it. Anyways, it does the typical like dodge and evasion sort of stacking deal. You'll see in the upper left corner I'm using, at the moment in this ultimatum, just clarity and flesh and stone. I somehow turned my vitality off and didn't realize. So that would have been pretty bad considering this is a survival ultimatum. I might notice in the middle of this. I don't remember if I do. But yeah, it would have been bad if I died and then realized that afterwards. But yeah, the most I've been using for auras and buffs up to the point that of this footage right here is, again, clarity, vitality, and flesh and stone. Flesh and stone is largely there for the blind, for the 50%, the minus 50% chance to get hit, basically. Because in ultimatums, you know, there's quite a lot of stuff. You can stand around the outer edge. Things are outside of, they're either outside of the range and dealing less attack damage to you, or they're inside of the circle and they're blinded, which, you know, makes them hit you significantly less. Combine that with Wind Dancer, as usual. You avoid getting hit for more than 4 seconds, and then suddenly, when you do get chunked for a big hit, you're taking less damage. On top of that, Assassins, one of Assassin's Ascendancy passives makes you take 20% less damage if you are nearby 2 or more rare or unique enemies. And nearby on those passives is actually quite large, so pretty much anywhere you stand in an ultimatum, especially with the less area ones, will be considered nearby to at least 2 rares. So that's helpful for surviving ultimatums as well, since usually your damage is good enough against rares and other mobs that that's the only thing you're concerned about. Now we've moved on to a couple of Conqueror fights here. Pretty standard stuff. This fight in particular I remember quite well because I realized at this point just how ridiculous the poison duration gets. You'll see he's about a quarter, 20% left here, and I just buzzed off into the other corner and didn't really hit him much after that, and he died. I think I can leave bosses at like 40 or 50% health. If I've been steadily damaging them up to that point, they'll usually just, you know, get poisoned away for the rest of that if I walk around. Including Cyrus to an extent. but haven't really done much of that since, you know, there's a decent amount of time you can be dealing damage to Cyrus, especially as a bursty character like any Blade Blast character. So that's pretty helpful. You'll see in the Veritania fight coming up that I do that to a slightly greater extent by just running around a little bit, which helps for the defenses of the character when you can have a lot of like front-loaded and then passive DPS after that. And you'll see I'm using Wither Totems here as well. Not necessary, and in the version of the build I'm running now, which is not showcased in this video, I drop Wither Totems altogether and change quite a bit about my setup. Currently, the only notable gear I have on this character is my helmet, which is a Concafalct helmet with some res and int, which this build needs, and crafted life on it. And that's where my Bladefall is, of course, because of the conch effect. I got really lucky on the rolls. I was rolling with essences, ended up hitting the conch effect pretty early with other great mods. But yeah, here's the rest of my gear. Gloves, I'm waiting to put in an Ashling bench for the Veiled mod, hopefully getting a +2 AoE to help with Plaguebearer. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. You'll see for Cyrus, the Conquerors aren't difficult enough for me to switch my gear out, but this is my first Cyrus kill of the league. Gone pretty slow on that, so I used a Cold Iron Point and a Saphel's Frame, however you pronounce it. And that's sort of like a middle approach between full DPS and defense. Well, actually, it's mostly just the defensive option. With the +4 all res and the spell block is pretty nice. I do have very high uptime on max dodge or max attack dodge and spell dodge, rather. So I'm usually sitting at about 60% effective evasion and 75 spell dodge, 75 attack dodge. And there are further ways I could increase my avoidance as well. I don't have a second Cold Iron Point for like pure single target damage, but I can craft a dagger relatively easily that is almost as much, but possibly more damage than a Cold Iron Point in conjunction with the other one. I don't know if equipping 2 of my theoretical dagger would be better than Cold Iron Points because the level scale so well, but yeah, I would do that with the new plus gems recipe, get a +1 fizz, aug regal it, and then multi-craft chaos damage over time multiplier and chaos damage. And that would be pretty much it. But yeah, damage is not really something I'm worried about, especially because of the thing I'll get into in the follow-up video. I ended up getting a Redeemer chest with nearby enemies are blinded. This, according to a couple of sources I found, has a radius of 35 units versus my Flesh and Stone, which, with my meager area of effect bonuses, only has 29 radius of units. So basically on screen right now, the blind nearby from the Redeemer chest is a little bit further than the sand circle around me. Yeah, so that allows me to free up 35% of my aura mana reservation rather, and fit in other things. So my final setup is, hopefully, I'm still in the process of gearing this, and I'll get into this more next video like I said, but I will be using Herald of Agony, Herald of Purity, which does scale the poison damage, by the way, so it's even better than Herald of Agony to start off. because it's 12% more damage rather than 10% more. And you can look around online and POB will show this to you, but yeah, confirmed my mark years ago, I think, that the physical damage multiplier does in fact work on poison damage, even the Herald of Purity one. So I'll be running Herald of Purity, Herald of Agony, a Blasphemy Enfeeble, and Vitality. If I want damage, I can always swap out the Enfeeble for Despair. I don't think I ever will, though. The Enfeeble is really nice again for ultimatums because with 2 enemies nearby and the Assassin passive plus the effect of Enfeeble, I'll be taking like 60-something% of the regular damage from rare mobs and even less from other mobs. And that's if they pass my evasion check and my 75% chance to dodge. And I have like a tiny amount of block because I'm dual wielding, of course. So yeah, pretty solid against ultimatums. And then when Wind Dancer is up, that's even less damage taken. Goes down to about half damage taken. See, I got a spell block there as well. But that is the end of the kill, so I'll have to get more into the crafting details next time. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you very much for watching if you've watched this far. I appreciate all the support lately. And I'll let the video close out with this terrible corruption. Thanks for watching. See you around.